Dearly beloved Toastmasters, I love you. I know you may be thinking, this girl's crazy. You may be thinking, I love you too. And you may be thinking, awkward. When was the last time someone told you they love you? How did it feel? What impact did it have? Small acts of compassion create connection and can make a big difference. If you'd been with me several weeks ago, you would have experienced this. Now raise your hand if you love the dentist. I'm not such a fan either. So I arrived the morning of my appointment and am greeted by Angela, the receptionist. I expressed to her, now I'm paraphrasing, but more or less, I'm scared, help me. She says, well, we have a stress ball you could squeeze during your procedure. What else you got? Well, the seat is heated and it has a massage. All right, getting better. What's next? Giovanna, our dental assistant, could hold your hand. Bingo! Now, I know, hold your hand. Are you a toddler? But stick with me. So we get into the room, I turn the heat on, I turn the chair on. Where's Giovanna? So she comes in. She's such a loving woman, emanating. You can feel the love. And she's smiling at me. And she's Italian, which is my favorite accent. Very comforting. So she, after getting her gloves on, places my hand into hers. And for the duration of the drilling, and that smell that smells like hair burning, and even the tool that the dentist describes as the brain rattler very accurately, she is holding my hand. Now, I'm not going to say that made it into a spa day, but it helped me to be a little bit more comfortable and believe that maybe I can keep from crawling out of my skin. Small acts of compassion create connection and make a difference. I had a similar experience at the Hill Cumorah pageant in Palmyra, New York. Now, this is the largest and longest running outdoor pageant in the entire world. I got to be in the cast in the summer of 2017. With a cast and crew of over 1,000 people, it's one of my favorite experiences. It's basically scriptures on stage, and one of my favorite scenes is when the Savior comes down and this little kid comes running across the stage and is lifted up and cradled. I have often wished I could be that little kid. Now, towards the end of the run, it was dark, and in the shadows, I saw this young boy crying. I said, are you okay, or are you just sad the show is ending? He said, I am okay, I'm just sad. I said, well, would you like a hug? And much like that little boy on stage, he came running up to me, and in that moment, it felt like the heavens opened, and love was poured down like a cozy blanket fresh out of the dryer. I hoped that perhaps I could have been for him what Giovanna had been for me. It only takes small acts of compassion to create connection. Now, what if you want to be more loving, but you aren't sure how to do it? Do you even know how you want to be loved? Do you know how to ask for it? I'm working on this, which is why I've been attending cuddle parties. I'll say it again for those way in the back. Cuddle parties. Now, Cuddle Party is a workshop to help people work on their communication, boundaries, and consent. Now, in our community, cuddle can mean much more than what you might think. It could be sitting back to back. It could be sitting next to someone and having a conversation. It could be looking into someone's eyes. We call that eye gazing. Now, I knew what to expect at my first cuddle party, but I was still nervous when I got there. Thankfully, someone more experienced than I came over. He seemed so confident, like he'd been doing this his whole life. And he said, would you like to lean against me and I could rub your arms? And I said, yeah. Now, we'll call him Alex for privacy purposes, but he shared with me later that he actually experienced significant social anxiety and even had a difficult time talking to people. But through Cuddle Party, He was able to become someone who could approach someone he just met and ask, "Would you like to cuddle?" These small acts of compassion can make such a difference. Cuddle Party also can help to learn how to ask for what you want and also how to say no to what you don't want. With all this thinking about compassion, I thought I might ask Alexa what the actual definition was. And she said, "Compassion is the feeling of sympathy for someone undergoing a hardship, accompanied by the desire to alleviate their suffering." So my fellow Toastmasters, I ask you, how will you bring more love into the world? Will you ask for the love that you want? And when's the next time you will tell someone, "I love you"? Mr. Contest Master.